Hello everyone and welcome to Saturday Night Crafting with Sasha. I'm going to do a little bit of talking just to explain myself a little bit before we get into the tutorial. So I have been seeing a lot of YouTubers doing their own DIY Christmas cards using some watercolors and just doing these really pretty, really cute, beautiful, lovely watercolor cards, and they're amazing. And I thought, right, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna do some watercoloring and I'm gonna make some cards. Now I'm a stamper and I'm a crafter because I'm not an artist. And some of you have made some comments in my comment section about how you think I'm truly an artist. I'm about to prove you wrong. Okay, so I sat down and and I started painting and I made some questionable Christmas cards. Okay, my first thought was I was going to make some Christmas baubles. How hard can it be, right? You paint a circle, you put the little bauble top on the top, maybe add some string. Christmas bauble sorted, yes? No. No. Oh, I feel like I shouldn't even show you this. This is my Christmas card. What is this? I'm telling you, I'm not an artist. I suck. Okay, so I ended up with some apples, some pink apples, with a very questionable top. So, not everyone's an artist, not everyone can make a watercolor card, but I'm going to show you how you can. So this whole thing here is what inspired me to do this video. I persisted, I carried on, I had my go at a snowman. Oh, I think my son could do a better job than this. Okay, so I did a snowman as well. And I thought, no, we gotta try something else. Got a little better with the Christmas presents. Still not great. So, my video is all about how to do watercoloring for dummies. Kind of like those self-help books, just because this is honest, raw Sasha Reade work. It is terrible. And I've already picked the friend that's getting this card. So, I've got a friend in mind who's gonna get my slightly questionable Christmas ornament card. Because she'll think it's hilarious. Because she's known me my whole life and she knows how much I utterly suck. So, I'm sorry, I've had too much laughter going on. I was sat in my office creating these and I was in floods of tears laughing at myself. So, this is what it looks like when I craft freestyle. So Sasha doesn't craft freestyle. So let me show you my tutorial on how you can make your cards, but a heck of a lot prettier than this if you have no skill like me. So let's get started.
So I'm getting started with this big pile of cardstock. I got this from Every Crafts a Pound for £1 in my haul video yesterday, and it is really nice, thick, beautiful cardstock. I've got my gouaches from Arteza. I'll link everything I can down below for you, just in case you want to check it out. I know Arteza's got loads of sales on right now for Black Friday. I love my gouaches. They're really pigmented and really opaque, is that the right word? So you can put them on dark cardstock. Most of the colors go on dark cardstock and you can still see them, which is really, really lovely. I've got some paintbrushes. These are watercolor paintbrushes, so they're a bit more soft and flexible. And I'm just starting out with getting some green on my paintbrush. This is the only card that I made where I didn't have an epic fail. So I just kind of am doing a bunch of brush strokes. I seem to be okay with brush strokes, although my left side does look different to my right side. I'm really not that talented at things, but I love how the paint goes down because you can still see the brush strokes when it dries. So I feel like it gives that kind of texture to the tree. Then I'm coming in and adding a bit of a tree stump to the bottom, and just kind of using a brown color. And again, you can see the brown really well when it's dried. They're really nice paints. I absolutely love them. I use them all the time and they're lasting me forever. Then I'm coming in, this is the bright white, I think it's called the titanium white. And I'm just adding what looks like snow on the ground, and I'm really pleased with the result of it. So that's all I've done to the Christmas tree one. And you'll see in a second my end result. Oh yes, I've done some splatters. I did cover my whole desk in these white splatters as well because I'm really not good at doing these nice and neat. But I love the effect that it makes it look like it's snowing. And then you'll see my finished product where I've just gone ahead and mounted it to a bit of card base, and I added a sentiment across the top. So next, I'm going to come in and do my baubles. Now this time, I'm using some lids. I just found some lids around my desk, a hairspray lid, a sequin jar lid, and I'm just going to use these and trace these. And this is the trick to doing DIY watercolor cards for people who don't have any skill to draw freestyle. So all I'm doing is just tracing the lid. I'm doing it in pencil because I figured I could erase the pencil when I was done if I needed to, but I actually didn't need to erase the pencil. So it worked out really well. Now I'm attempting to do some shading here. I think I do manage it in the end. I'm trying to go a bit darker on the left side and kind of fade it into the right side to get a bit more of a lighter look on that right hand side. So again, I'm doing a red, a green, and a blue, and I'm just going for a nice thick edge on the right and then kind of dragging it across and following my pencil lines. I cannot do this without having a guideline to follow. The nice thing about these paints is for the most part, they're kind of covering up that pencil as well. But I do need the pencil guidelines, so I don't fully cover up the pencil. But it's okay because in a minute we're going to cover it with black and it'll kind of work out. So here I've gone in a bit heavy. This blue was really opaque. I think that's the right word. Really pigmented, so it covers up the dark blue background really nicely, but it meant that I ended up with a bit too much of the darkness. Now I'm just going in and drying them. If you don't dry them, when you put the little white kind of reflective dot on the top, it absorbs the color underneath and then you get kind of a creamier color of that light, of that dark color. I've got these Arteza pens. They're like a felt tip end, but a really thin fine point tip one. And I'm just taking the same circles again and tracing around them to kind of add a bit more definition to those baubles and make them pop off the page a bit more because it's such a dark background. I felt like they kind of blended in a bit too much. So I've gone and added some black on there. Then I was going to draw a line and I thought, nope, we're going to get the T-ruler out. The T-ruler saves my life. It's the best craft tool in my office, I think, apart from like my scissors. And all I've done is just drawn a line to each of the baubles, and then I'm doing basically a little bow. So how I do my bows is I kind of do sort of like a heart and then two little sticky bits coming out the end. So there's my epic fail on the right and my much better project on the left. And I went ahead and added some diamantes on there and a stamped sentiment in white embossing powder. Now I'm going in for my snowman. So again, I'm just using whatever I can find on my desk, which happens to be the ink thing, this cup, and my water spray bottle. So all I did was just look around my office for 3 different sized shapes of circles, and I'm just tracing them and overlapping them, and that is literally all I'm doing. So as you can see, here's my pencil mark, and that's all for my shape. Now I'm coming in and doing 1 circle at a time. I wanted a nice full white circle, so as you can see, I've accidentally tapped that on my page as well and splattered some white, but never mind, we roll with it in the end. I am using the slightly off white here, so it's not the bright white, it's the slightly more off white. And I'm coming in and adding a bit more, and I'm making sure to dry the layers in between. That way when I do my second layer, it goes over the top and you kind of get that bit of character to it. I have no idea what the actual terminology is because, like I said, I don't really do art. But I like being able to see the different levels of the snowman. So I've done that one there, and you can see I did a big blob at the top by accident. And this is my way of getting it off. I just use a wet paintbrush and literally just dab it off, and it comes off a dream. Can't even tell I'm mucked up. Now, when the paper starts to curl when you're drying it, if you just flip the card over and dry it from the back, it kind of flattens it right back out again. So now I'm coming in with the titanium white for the bottom, so it's a slightly brighter white than the other one. And I'm adding my little snow effect on the bottom. Now I'm going to heat set it and dry it again so I can do my next stage. I decided here that my head wasn't quite as opaque. I keep using that word. I bet you've got the wrong one completely. I wanted it to not be as see-through, so I went and did a second layer. And now I'm coming in with my same objects and I'm tracing it again with my black pen. And this I ended up giving up on because I found it a bit too difficult and I just went freestyle and followed my pencil lines. But I wanted that black pen there so it could define it a bit more. It's difficult to see in the video, but in person it really does make it pop off the card a bit more. I decided to try my attempt at adding a hat on the top, and it's alright. It's not amazing, but I felt like he needed a hat. I avoided the face on this one because I felt like my skills are not good enough to attempt a face. So I left the face off of it, and I think he looks like a nice little classy snowman rather than attempting the face on him. And then I went in and drew in some stick hands, which I can manage to do. I wanted to add some shading, so I've brought in some grey, and I'm just adding a little bit of shading on the right hand side only. I could have probably done all of it, but I just ended up doing that in the end. And then to cover up all those splatters I accidentally did already, I decided to do some more white splatters and make it look like it was snowing. So you can see here I'm just tapping it on, and there's my finished snowman. I decided to add some gems for his little buttons in the end, and I've got my fail on the right and my good one on the left. Now for my Christmas presents, I decided I wanted to use some nice solid shapes, so I got my stamp blocks out and traced those. I picked 3 different sizes of stamp blocks to kind of have a nice little Christmas bundle of gifts at the bottom of my card. And I mean, the first original one wasn't too awful, but I thought, no, I want to go for a nice clean shape. So I decided to do this. I'm using the sort of pastel colors, and I went for the blue one and a purple and a pink. I think, no, a green, sorry, not a green, a purple and a green. Now, when I painted it, because it's so, let's use the word opaque again, because we might as well roll with it, it kind of lost my pencil line, and I felt really lost without it. So I just went ahead and traced my pencil line over top of that middle gift, and that worked out really nicely. So again, I'm going to heat set them, and you'll see why in a minute, because I didn't fully dry that one top edge of that purple gift, and you'll see what happens. I do an oopsie again in a second. And I'm sorry, my head gets in the way, but I have to make sure that I'm right over top of my images. This time I'm coming in with the Arteza black, like Sharpie equivalent. I bought a whole pack of these because they worked out way cheaper than the Sharpies, and they have been amazing. They work exactly the same as the Sharpies, so well happy with them and way cheaper. Anyways, I went and did a big oopsie because I didn't fully dry it, and I made that big blob smear all over my card. So I'm just coming in and I am clearing that up with some water and my brush. So super easy to fix your oopsies when you're using watercolor, which is really nice. If you've got watercolors at home, just have a test. If you want to do them on a dark card, just get them out and have a little test of your cardstock to see how opaque or not it is, to kind of work out whether this would work for you on a dark background or not, because some watercolor paints don't really show up too well. These ones are amazing. I'm really impressed with them. I really like how well they turn out. So it's always worth having a quick test before you start painting, and then think that your skills aren't very good when actually it's just your paints aren't holding up to your expectations. Right, so here's my little bows. I'm not sure if the bows kind of ruin it or not, but anyways, I've got my diamantes all over the top. There's my one on the right and my finished one on the left. And that is the end of my video. So I'm grateful that you came and joined me today. I do apologize for all the laughing in the beginning. I was just having such a hilarious time crafting with myself. So please do make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I really look forward to seeing you again later on this week. Should be here Wednesday and next Saturday for some more crafting on the weekend. Bye!